The cord is tangled. One moment, please. Hello, everyone. Happy... God, what day is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Aren't you excited to get more Ace Attorney in? Because I am. But I'm not just excited about Ace Attorney. God damn it, I need to stop ripping my bed sheets. I'm just excitable today. I'm like rediscovering like that feeling of joy of wanting to make things and such. So it's good. It's a good day. I'm like getting out of my my bubble a little bit, which is lovely. And I talk more about it, but I'm not. Let's play the game. You're here if you're watching the VOD to enjoy the turnabout succession. I mean, don't you think that name is a little bit spoilery? Don't you think? Like, I don't know what happens, but if I had to guess what happens, it would be that, given that this is the last case in the game, Wright is on the chair of this stuff, and the name of this stuff is Turnabout Succession, and Apollo has essentially been a apprentice, I guess would be the word, to him, kind of, in Wright's weird way, that this is probably the case that ends the game and also provides us with stuff. Good description, I know. 1 second, you're gonna hear a different game's little notes and tunes and such. Why does it say no? I just need to start the login for Crush for the daily login. So you're gonna have to hear Grace for a minute here. The winner is Honey. Oh, Honey won the phone fling. Neat. All right. There we go. All right, that's close. I just need to get that started because it takes an hour for it to redeem the daily reward. So, good morning.
So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy Wright. That's right with a W.
But not right.
Right?
That's pretty good.
We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please.
Good morning. She speaks.
Not bad. But I think you do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know?
Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my case. Okay. Well, that's a start, I guess. This is that nail thing then. There she goes, the nail polish. Oh, I understand now. Last stream, I had no idea what the hell they were saying when he mentioned nails, because it is not obvious in the slightest that is a nail polish container. I see it now, though. The bottom bit. Oh, wait, do I still have that? I do. Yeah, here we go. You can see it. The bottom base bit is where the polish is, and then the hand is the actual applicator. The handle. The hand is the handle.
That's great. Really, it's so cultured.
Want to try?
Really?
Girls. Oh, Trucy, you wear gloves though. The victim, Drew Misham, was a forger. No relation to Yor or Anya or Lloyd. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. Life of crime, really. And maybe one that led to his death. Yeah, but how's that relate to the reporter? Well, you
now begin the trial of Misham.
Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy. And he's looking around all nervous like.
The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time. And may, indeed, alter our legal system forever.
Today is a test of the jury system, and the first step towards a new order in our courts. Daddy's secret mission! The jurors will function like a jury. It is hoped that their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists judge well and judge cool.
Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that.
My apologies, Herr Judge.
Jurists, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you will be so kind.
The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. Not by the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. I want to find out just what effect they're going to have.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would.
The victim is the painter Misham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Misham.
Objection!
There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Oh, someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but from the mug itself.
The mug? Ah, residue was found on the rim, I see.
The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death.
The court accepts this as evidence.
Estimated time of death, 9/9/30.
According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning.
A chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is lethal to the Rita's site.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness.
I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. What voice did I give that guy? It was an annoying voice, I think. The witness will state his name and occupation. Oh god, that nose.
Right. Now, for starters, my name is Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record.
Yes, Mr. Brushel.
I dislike conclusions, especially the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make park sand as well as desert waste. End quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel to that, Mr. Brushel. End quote.
See, okay, just looking at his face, I know he's creepy to look at. But if it wasn't for the horridly pink cheeks that he's got going off, like the blush marks, I would almost wonder if the blue around his face was really, really weirdly drawn 5 o'clock shadow. But it's not, I suppose, because we know that he smells horribly like mint and that he carries a toothbrush and toothpaste in his pocket. So, someone needs to spray this man with a hose.
Let's hear your testimony then, shall we?
A simple case, eh? Gavin. For me, the jury is still out. That's like a put on your sunglasses line you just said.
I visited the studio around 9 o'clock that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalist historic maid. End quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star falls. End quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time.
Well, you were there. I saw he didn't enter. He was already there, but still.
That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
What are you saying? Judge!
Need I remind you, the cameras are rolling today. But they need to be a bit dramatic.
You didn't do it, did you?
Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know. What accusations rock courtroom, end quote.
Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Your cross-examination, please.
Alright, let's get depressing. Not depressing, but just depressing. 9 at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview?
Yeah, if the great painter Drew Misham says come at 9. Believe you me, I go at 9. But first, as it turned out last, interview with such a prolific painter.
Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived?
Hold it!
You were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio?
Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. A basically insignificant step for all mankind. But a giant step for that Brushel guy. End quote.
If no one on the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which he means Vera did it. So, how did this epoch-making interview go?
His daughter brought us coffee right to the start.
Would you mind being a little more specific?
Oh, me. Let me tell you. I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait. 4th grade.
That's not what I meant. I believe we know what her forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, that. That's what I was going to say, really.
Well, if you got a question to ask, you best straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the newer critics, several times if necessary. Hey, for a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which isn't to say I can only write grade school up stuff, mind you.
Who touched the coffee?
Dunno. I was in the back with the studio equipment when she served it.
And what happened next?
Hold it!
What's this about a star falling?
Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money over. Sorry, send money over. Zowie! You don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it? But there's no gravity in space. Is there? I don't think stars could fall, really.
That's incorrect, by the way. There is gravity in space. Because that's how orbits work. Like, the sun... I actually really like the diagram for these type of things. Where is it? Sun, orbit, gravitation. Can I find one of these? Kind of, sort of. Okay, this is kind of one, I guess. Sort of. Sorry, I'm trying to find one of these things. There's so many interesting diagrams, and I think this is the one that I was mainly thinking of, though. Hold on, let me pull it out for you. This is one of those cool sort of visualizations of like space-time and like the depth of the like how far it's down and everything. Like that's the weight of the thing, like depressing space-time with its gravity, and like that's part of what like makes stuff rotate around. It's cool shit, all right? That's all. I just wanted to talk about it because I think it looks cool and it's a cool visualization and concept to talk about. All right? Moving on.
I don't think stars could fall, really.
Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff. Good stuff. How about star breaks? Lacks much. I know. Star dies. Yeah, lacks imagination. I just sneezed.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. That came out very quickly.
Of course, you go Drew dies. Straight to the point. I don't like it.
I need to hear about something a little more substantial. The moment of death, Brushel's coffee, or the Star's coffee. Why would we say this? Oh, Star. Sorry, I got confused between Brushel and... There were 2 cups put out. That is true. Maybe she was trying to poison the reporter. That'd be pretty fun. So, you drank the coffee that Vera served you too.
Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never get what he meant by it, though.
But you're still alive. Which is to say you didn't die.
Of course not. No point falling before you're a star. End quote.
That's not exactly what I was getting at. If that's where you're getting at then. You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee.
Oh, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought. And one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side.
No chance of guessing that one by mistake, I guess.
Well, Mr. Justice, was the testimony important?
I don't actually know. I kind of want to see the other ones. But there were 2 cups on the tray she brought. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with Apollo that like no one would take that one. I mean, they're just cups. Like when I have guests over and I serve them things, I generally like just give them a cup. I don't really care what cup it is, because if I want my specific cup, then it's already got liquids in it before I offer anything to like anyone else, or it doesn't have liquids in it and I just fill it last. Let's see, not important. So Brushel drank the coffee too. Doesn't let this go much.
Very well. Please continue with the testimony.
Okay, but the good thing that we know is that on point number 4 here, we can get more stuff. Can you say that for sure?
For sure. Sure, I'm sure. Drew's Studios is in a big place, kiddo. I didn't know it if someone else had come in.
What if they had been hiding in there from before? Even if someone had been hiding in the studio, they hardly could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing.
You think I, Spark Brushel, missed something as obvious as that? No way! He sure makes it sound exciting. Guess that's his job.
There's only one moment we need to focus on, really.
The moment when Drew Misham died?
Exactly. There has to be something there. Alright. Let's get over to it. I'm gonna save right here, just so that if we do accidentally like trigger some long diatribe thing or something, we can avoid it. But I'll press again, and then we'll skip what he talks about this stuff. And then, come on. Oh god, they just had to fill this thing up with a bunch of stuff. The moment of death, Brushel's coffee or the Star's coffee? I want to ask about the moment of death, because I imagine asking about the Star's coffee is going to lead us to the 2 cup on a tray thing. About when Mr. Misham passed away.
Oh boy, what a scene that was. Puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right?
Yes, and then?
Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch he could do not but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, Life's flame was a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go. I think he's starting his article already.
Could you describe that a little more simply?
Well, as you imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. His seizure is final performance. End quote.
Adequate paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow. The limbs tremble, the throat burns.
That's quite enough of that. I just want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh, yeah? Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details.
For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Attukanine, My Love, by the Governors. Available at all major music outlets.
The point here is that the victim died of atropine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony?
Hit the floor. The body's back arches like a bow. He put his coffee mug down with a crash. So he dropped it, is what he means by that. It's a little bit strange to me, I think, but not overly strange. Bears traces of deadly poison. And this was over on the desk near where the journalist would have been. Whoa, wait. Traces the slow-acting deadly poison. That's pretty important then. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony.
Very well. The court requests the witness add this account to his testimony.
That was definitely death by poison. Okay, so him saying that like it happened and he fell over and all that other business and stuff makes it sound like it happened quickly, which would be opposite to what that thing says. So let's press on this just to see. You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure?
Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. Man eats fishy fish. Goes bye-bye. End quote.
Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? No. Let's go with what we have for now. No. No. Okay. Alright, apparently I'm wrong. Although, actually, I kind of want to see what he says.
It does. I don't see anything contradictory.
You sure about that?
Objection overruled. Load your game so that you don't have to sit here through a bunch of random stuff.
Huh. I thought I was onto something there because they made it sound like it happened really quickly. That was definitely death by poison. Alright, I guess we should have him swap it then. It's kind of warm in my apartment today. Either that or I'm getting sick. One or the other. Feel warm. Alright, tell me about the Stars coffee. We haven't seen this one yet. You say Mr. Misham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world.
Yet?
I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, at that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote.
That poison is quite virulent, I hear.
My stomach did a so-called somersault. Since I gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Hey, maybe something's there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess? The record?
Does this guy have a pause button?
Well, Mr. Justice, did you find the testimony valuable?
He had one sip. Did you see him actually drink the coffee? Yeah, but he did one sip. Puts lips to mug. Drinks? Question mark? Doesn't sound like he really is sure. And I mean, we know that he definitely sipped some.
Is that there? That's poison.
Yeah.
Don't lick it, Apollo.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
No, you won't. You'll die.
Look, I know. I meant I won't lick it. Who knows what you do when I'm not watching? The concern is touching. Next thing you know, she'll be telling you not to drink coffee before bedtime. So this is Misham? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Kind of weird. What's our witness's name? Brushel? Drew Brushel? you have to take this back part off first, put a photo inside.
That'd be a really small photo to fit in there.
True, and that pale blue stain. Why would there be poison on something like this?
Well, there's one obvious reason. Whoever put poison in the coffee wrote it on here too.
It's not very obvious, Tracy. Sure. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over?
Oh, yes. You gotta press with that one.
Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. Wait, what? What? Wait. Did he actually... He didn't say anything about how quickly it happened, right?
Very well. The witness will add this to his testimony.
Vital, right.
At least he's a cooperative witness.
He had one sip, if that.
The next one he was on the floor. Okay. This is it. So I think I was on the right track with the evidence. I just didn't have the right thing to press on.
Hold it!
I'm going to press on this anyway. I'm not going to make him change it. So he either took a sip or he didn't, then fell over.
Oh, yeah, indubitably. Just like that. Wham bam.
Mr. Misham drank the coffee and fell over immediately. And Brushel was telling the truth, too. Huh. Should I get him to talk about something else? No, there's no real need to change the testimony. The problem with the testimony is already pretty obvious. They do, like, cement clues into this about which one's the obvious thing.
Objection!
Oh, come on. It says slow acting. Your Honor, what do you think of the witness' statement? Really? But it says that, though. It says slow acting. Am I stupid? Is there a different description of acronym? But it says slow. You know, it's probably the time of death doesn't make sense. I got an autosave, right? I assume. Am I loading back to the autosave? Okay, yeah. Did one sip if that's the next one we was on the floor. And he said his interview showed that. So, what? Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? It can't be that. If his interview started at 9, and then they got coffee, and then he fell over right away, then the time doesn't make any sense. Present this because this has nothing to do with anything. Okay, no. Okay, I'm confused. I'm officially confused because this doesn't make any sense. You can't just write slow acting poison in the thing and then expect me to believe it happened right away.
Hold it!
So that's where he did fell over. Misham drank the coffee then fell over. I give the talk about something else. Sure, talk about your coffee again. So you drink the coffee that Vera served you too?
Of course.
Okay, we've seen this, so. What is one? Rim? 2 cups, 1 cup had signature. Was the testimony important? Sure. I drank the coffee too, but I'm not dead.
Hold it!
You're sure? Yep. Gulped it down, felt that sweet scorch in my throat. But you say the victim took 1 sip and fell over, and you still kept drinking?
course. Drink your coffee when it's hot. Never when it's cold. Not. I know boss used to always say. I really knew what he meant by it.
Yeah. Death by aquanine poisoning. I feel like it's got to be either the frame or something else. Okay, now this is what I was on before. Hit one sip and died. I'm just gonna like press everything in one go to try to understand. Okay. One sip and died. Hold it! So I took a sip or didn't to fill over. What if I'm just wrong? What if it's not this and it's a different aspect that I'm supposed to be chasing down? He puts his coffee mug down with the crash, right? Well, he can't. I mean, unless he's just being annoyingly descriptive in this way. He drops it. Of it all. Go ahead and add that in. The spasms, that was definitely death by poison. The spasms. Hold it! So it was definitely death by poison, I can be sure, and then he has the fishy fish thing. Cool. Okay, so I'm a little bit lost, I think. The spasms, huh? Okay, so entered the whole room besides her the whole time. I visited the studio around 9 o'clock the next to the interview. But he died at 9. You know? It's not that, right? Like, it's not something that's stupid. Objection! Be one of those nights. I apparently used all my brain power yesterday. Gross coffee. Those spasms, that was definitely death by poison. What if it wasn't? What if it wasn't on the coffee, it was on his hands or something? Because he had picked the flame. Hold it! I'm making fun of the coffee again. Can't say I saw him drink it. The victim drinks coffee, then immediately fell over. Like, this feels like it's the right thing. I just don't know. Are we supposed to be like, then how did it get on there?
Objection!
Not right. I'm just guessing at this point. I feel like I'm definitely missing whatever I'm supposed to be figuring out. Which is unfortunate. Because it feels like the game is guiding me over this way. And it is unfortunate. But didn't I already presented this, right? Right? It's the only thing that makes sense to talk about because it says slow acting poison. Really? Okay. Well, I got it. I'm just confused because I could have sworn I presented this on that. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used, atropine.
Oh, Prosecutor Gavin's quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzed the central nervous system.
I guess they would probably say 2,000s, right?
If you drink that, even you, Mr. Justice, will be reduced to a quivering pile.
Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. It was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information.
An omission?
Atropine is virulent, as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because atropine is slow acting.
Slow acting?
According to one forensic scientist, that was all the voices. It's one of the most virulent poisons. It absorbs into the body astonishingly slow. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Misham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of Joe.
Order. Order. What's the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why? That contradicts the entire testimony we just heard.
Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? Slow acting. S-L-O-A-C-T. It was virulent, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging his claws into the journalist. He's working on a scoop.
Objection!
It's Brushel, yeah. Herr Brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital.
You know what I think? I think that was, a not-so-subliminal suggestion. End quote.
I admit, it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I'd be forced to say Auf Wiedersehen to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article.
Come again?
You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye.
Scoop. Scoop.
Oh god, what a fucking... Oh, I hate it. Oh, this is the worst character.
Look, wait, just wait a second. Just 1 second.
We're waiting. Out with it.
I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. Revival recollection. Unquote. Story survival. Unquote.
Attorney utterly confused. End quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I'd heard of poison that takes its sweet time, see?
But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes of hand.
Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
You bet I am. The antidote for poisonous contradiction. End quote, you might say.
Or I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say.
I figured it out, only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that copy.
You want to tell me? As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony that Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony. And I dream of exclusive rights to this story.
Huh. I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him.
Him?
Phoenix Wright. Who else? Come on, Herr Brushel. Report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed?
This court is a critical trial of the jury system, where no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed.
What was he doing? Was he licking his fingers?
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. Seen me writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing about it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
A suicide note?
Yes, had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation. End quote.
Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham.
But that means Vera is innocent.
Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh.
Very well. You may begin your cross-examination.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, him being at his desk, I think, is important for us because that's where we found other traces of poison. Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Misham?
No, his daughter Vera, of course.
Was anyone besides Mr. Misham and Vera present?
Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse.
The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brushel?
Huh. I know what you're doing. I know your game. Attorney uses classic rams down phenomenal boy. End quote.
If you intend to suggest that this reporter is a suspect, I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? I have a letter. I have this letter, and I have this letter, and I have nothing else. So he put the letter away when he saw you?
Rally reporter gets room. End quote. That's my secret.
Not sure I follow.
It's the night of the interview. I arrive 50 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in.
Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really?
Mr. Misham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could.
Yellow envelope. I don't have a yellow envelope.
I know his secret when I spot one, and that was one.
So that's why he was over at the desk, right?
It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice.
I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor.
Very well. Please add to the testimony then.
Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge.
I heard it was left at the crime scene. Did Emma have something like that? And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with a letter?
Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw. Apollo, you think this might be?
Our big break, yeah. What I need to do is show some decisive evidence now.
But nothing at the time,
Of course, that's bullshit. There's no way. You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time?
Hey, when I go in for the interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than carrying. End quote.
So what do I want now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Misham's behavior?
Well, yeah. That's why I'm telling you all this to begin with.
Very well. Continue your testimony.
Yeah, I don't know about that. A suicide note.
Well, yeah. Don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know?
So you didn't actually check the letter.
Of course not. It was sealed. Contents of can unknown until contents of can unknown until can is open. End quote.
Always check the label.
You think Mr. Misham was writing a suicide note?
If it was, that would solve the case in a jiffy.
Kind of makes me wonder about that letter.
Into writing letter, but he sealed it. It was a yellow envelope. Or it was left at the crime scene. I don't suppose this is secretly yellow. Like, found in the victim's dress drawer. These 2 sheets of paper. Maybe I should present this. Frame, hair's tracer with poison. At the moment, I'm thinking maybe I should submit the red envelope, but I sealed it. What is I don't think so. See, I have a vague recollection from last time we played that I've forgotten. And I think Emma might have had something, but let's present this, see what happens. Because it's also an envelope that was at the desk. As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the same time. In a red envelope. Whoa, that was a face. Holy shit. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But her forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess. But not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already. 7 years ago.
Well, Mr. Brushel.
Well, I can explain that. True, right? You wanted to get that letter in an envelope. Pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So I got the nearest envelope and crammed away.
What about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump?
Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim?
That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. It's possible, it's impossible. I don't know. No? I don't suppose we still have... Oh yeah, we do. Mr. Misham, I've been positive on 1,000. Sign the papers and send them the ink close stamp within 3 days. There's no way because... It's not possible because there's totally different stuff in here, right? That's impossible. Ha, I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. But note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham.
Oh.
Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself.
Yeah, I've been scooped. Scoob.
Sorry, this guy's voice is like almost Shaggy-like when I do it.
Order! Order! Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court?
Oh, my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote.
I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel.
Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there, searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp. So-called postage stamp, end quote.
A stamp? Whatever for?
No, to mail his letter. What else? And then, yes, I think I saw him put his letter.
Nope, wrong. The description in the court record says that that's empty.
Yes, it was a yellow envelope. And he put it in that box.
I bet you he fucking took it.
Well, apparently the yellow letter has nothing to do with this case.
Oh, I wish it did. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story. Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. Balls. End quote.
As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. As said,
Yes, Your Honor?
Makes me wonder what the contents of that red envelope.
What about it, dude? Okay.
$100,000 is quite a good deal of money.
So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? Whoa. What was that face, Brushel?
So, am I finished? Here, I mean, am I finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing.
You trying to get out of something, buddy? I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face.
Yeah, come on! Attorney has active imagination. Little else. End quote.
Even I noticed something and my eyes aren't what they used to be. You know, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
Shows his active imagination. End quote.
Please, continue your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story.
Hey, the one asking the questions here. Usually.
Oh, that's so gross. And like that would be, if you wear glasses, I feel like you can instantly understand why like this is just horrendous. Like, ugh. You'd have streaks all over your lenses. Not to mention like, just not good. No, awful.
Actually, took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview. End quote. The story concerns a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Maybe you will. But Drew's talent was without compare.
Yeah, because he's a forger.
So you threatened to go to the press with this story. That's how you got your interview? Blackmail?
Well, yes. I mean, no. No. It wasn't exactly black. I mean, I'm not. Yeah.
Something wrong, Mr. Brushel.
Look. This is my story, my tidbit. Journalist info's livelihood. End quote.
I see.
Oh, you got me chatting away in here. What's going on out there? What if some Wally wordsmith or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could be going to press while I'm going to waste.
The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace.
A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? Ooh, we get to perceive. Alright, let's get to The victim, Drew Misham, had an aversion to reporters?
Boy, I guess. Maybe my considerable charms in mushroom. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is.
Maybe you can elaborate on that bit for us. Oh, look at him smile. Oh, and the eyes. Exactly what sort of story was this?
Oh, a little one. Like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between. End quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing. Honest.
So a suggestion was enough to get an interview? Mr. Misham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. Maybe he brought a certain case 7 years ago. Tell us what case?
Well, let me state one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case.
Why not?
It's about journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalists reveal sources only over his dead body. End quote. So what'd it be? Gonna strangle me? Dead man tell no tales, Mr. Attorney.
I was pretty determined not to talk.
Huh. Our chances of bringing his well aren't looking good.
Yeah, we don't have Maya and her, like, locks to deal with. On the one hand, we have your story, and on the other hand, this letter. What makes you think the two are related?
Oh, I was just saying it's possible. Call it a reporter's intuition. End quote. Yeah, I say a lot of things. You gonna pick all of them apart? Be my guest.
All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones.
I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Misham?
True times without compare. I see you bonking your head.
Hold it!
He has so many like ticks that it's hard to tell what's gonna be actually like something to perceive. Just how amazing was Mr. Misham's talent?
Huh? Ooh, boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man. A star. The flow of his brush is like a great undulating river across the canvas. Artist paints lights up the studio like sun. End quote.
That's full of wacky gestures. That one just now is wackier than usual.
Looks kind of nervous to me, Paula.
Definitely. Sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out you more.
That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth.
It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous.
I wonder what this story he's talking about is. It must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that.
Something powerful enough to drive Brushel out of hiding. Maybe it has something to do with Mr. Misham's art. Okay, so maybe we'll use the art for evidence. All right, let's start perceiving. Though it really is just a pretty fatty. No. Nothing here. I mean, he's very happy about this. Also, he like stares more. I wonder if that's gonna be. I mean, he just never fucking blinks during this. Holy shit! Can I see that again? Did he blink once? Okay, so that's disturbing. Okay, so like that's one thing. Let's put that aside and keep looking around. Oh, wait a minute. He stopped hitting himself. Can we see it again? He was hitting himself at the beginning, right? Okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe? I don't know. This doesn't look weird at all, though. Red envelope. Probably had something to do with it. Wow, he doesn't blink at all in any of this. What the heck? Is he gonna, like, swallow or anything? He's kind of full of all sorts of craziness. I mean, his eyebrows are different, I suppose. But it's just the expression. Not talking about like his wrist either. This is the one that's like the most weird to me, I guess. Because he's just like So into it. But what these lines on his face? Can I see those? Do they change? I'm just gonna see all of it. Like, it's weird. Mr. Brushel, you're hiding something.
Yo! Don't yell something like that. You got a heart attack.
I'm sorry, it's just the way you were moving just now. Particularly suspicious.
What's that supposed to mean? Usually I'm just sort of averagely suspicious.
Sorry, my mistake. You're fine. I know I'm onto something here. Time to focus. Does any of this change? I would assume in the second part, maybe. Gets into it. I mean, at the end code isn't going to change anything. He doesn't like adjust his necktie or anything, right? I do like that, especially I like the one. That red envelope. Probably. What's the probably? Why is that its own bit? He doesn't move this, is the thing that catches my eye. He's also like not smiling anymore. This is actually really hard. Because he's so fishy all the time and like moves around so much. So like, that's the one that the text points us to, I think.
Hold it!
Didn't this change that? Let's change it to our lady. There's gotta be something here, right? I'm assuming that's the tip off. Say what you will. But Drew's talent. I think it must be Drew's talent. I just don't know where to look. Because I feel like this is gonna tie into him being a forger. I can't go anymore, so I can't like see his arm. But wait, is he sweating? No. feel like it's gotta be something with this. Do his ears wiggle or some nonsense? Like nothing's moving. Okay, he doesn't want to talk about his face. But that one feels like we can't do it yet. It's gotta be something else. I guess there's no harm in perception, right?
Gotcha!
Mr. Brushel, you're hiding something.
Oh! Don't you all something like that? The guy had a heart attack.
Sorry, it's just the way you're moving just now. Particularly suspicious.
What's that supposed to mean?
Okay. Yeah. You're averagely suspicious, you weirdo. Okay. Maybe I should look, Okay, wait, I need to figure this out. Because he stops moving this. His eyebrows are just the expression. He's not blinking, but we just did that, so it's not doing anything. His throat doesn't do anything? Okay, can I see this again, sorry? Like he's not frowning. And I feel like it's definitely the Drew talent part. So it feels like weird that that's that. Does he like sweat? Wait, he legitimately sweats. Gross.
Gotcha!
I was right before. I was onto something with the armpit. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel?
Yeah, well, a man can't help his glands, you know?
It's more than that. When Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. You're hiding something about his talent.
Why?
This evidence time. Let's show her Mr. Misham's true talent lay. It just so happens that it was showing the talent mentioned in that letter. Notable for large plum. Only half finished the ropes. It's this one, right?
Yeah, I can't help but wonder, what the court is supposed to conclude from this evidence?
Oh.
Other than that you made a horrible mistake. Man, birds, forget to cross first. End quote.
Wait, what? But that's the one that shows that the rough doesn't match. Isn't that the thing? Wouldn't that make the most sense? I was showing the talent mentioned in that letter. Maybe it's this one, the hidden painting? Because this was the one that Emma didn't want us to find, so... Take that! This one? This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries.
Oh!
God, what a face. That is all, Your Honor.
Everyone, please. Everyone. Can we keep this private? Please? This is my story, my scoop.
Forgery. That's a serious crime.
Joe Misham is known as an artist these days. But there are rumors he just dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back.
Another art mean forgery.
Joe Misham was talented, all right. Talented in making precise, detailed fakes. The fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about...
Exactly. Talking about forging evidence. The rumor started circulating 7 years ago.
7 years ago. So, are we to understand that this letter, this payment of 100,000 was for...
Exactly. Forged evidence, that's tiny profit. End quote.
Order. Why, it's like our victim was living a double life.
This is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about.
Objection!
This is my first time hearing of this criminal verb. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted the investigation. Sorry, excuse me. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity.
Objection!
But there's no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was, and remains, simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course.
Yay! Hey. The only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews.
Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting accuracy.
What are you talking about? My journal is rock solid. Journalism so solid you could stand an elephant on it. End quote.
In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation in that sphere from the recap, the trial's over.
Apollo, what's he talking about?
The cross-examination showed Mr. Brushel didn't have reason or means to poison him. As long as there are no other suspects, then the killer had to be Vera. That's what. This next testimony is our last chance.
Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please.
The only other person that threw that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She made as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during that interview was the mug. And nothing left that city after he died. Nothing. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter.
Okay, I'm thinking the frame's gonna come in here, because the frame has poison on it, and so would he have touched it to his lips or something? A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt.
Ah, shucks. You really think so?
I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your final cross-examination.
Excuse me. Right. I still have one trump card left to play. I won't let this trial end until I use it. We'll press on everything first, and then I think I'll do the frame on like the second or third one, or whatever it was. That doesn't prove they're poison. How many times have you heard that one yet, forehead? The poison reached its victim via that coffee mug, and from there did that coffee come? Not to beat a dead horse again and again, but perhaps you could fill us in.
I'm on it. Need a horse beat? I'm your man.
And what? And you witnessed her pouring the coffee?
Of course I didn't witness it. When she came in with that tray, the coffee was already poured and steaming.
Let us not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself. I heard her statement, I poured, I served, and I killed. What? That last part was just a little joke. Okay, we're not getting anywhere with this coffee. I need to find another weak spot in this case. Yeah, see, this part I think is what's wrong. Number 3. You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
One of those candies might have been poisoned. Yet, at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragments of mint filled the room, and no mint residue was found. Long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee?
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof.
The possibility is there. I feel it. I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it yet. Possibility is going to cut it, not now. Mr. Misham ingested that poison via a route other than that coffee. I can prove it. Can I prove it? What if it wasn't a picture? What if it was a stamp? You'd have to lick a stamp, right? And looking a stamp on an envelope, that yellow envelope maybe. I can't prove it yet. It can't be proven. I do believe our little forehead is growing up. Pity. We like the rash useful forehead best. Another hole in this case that needs plugging before I can prove anything. But first things first, I better uncover a weak spot before I try to strike again.
On with the cross-examination.
And nothing like that after he died. Nothing.
You sure about that? I think you stole an envelope. Not one thing, you're sure?
Yeah, sure can be. Yeah, with one exception.
One exception? What?
Apparently Spark Brushel does interview. Leave studio. End quote. Come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still.
Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Or have I heard something like that before?
Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts. To turn to our defense attorney before we turn to the testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night?
I kind of do. But, like, can I actually prove it, though? Let me try it. Let's try it. I think one thing might very well left the studio that night, actually. I was starting something that's vanished from the crime scene.
I wish you mean something other than our witness.
Of course. Don't tell me. Vera Misham? Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional.
Then, let's see what you got for us, Mr. Justice.
Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows how it could have been taken from the scene. Okay. So I was rethinking this and thinking maybe they took the picture from this. But this, I think, is the answer to this question, right? This is the only link between that studio and the outside world.
A letterbox.
What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, it was true.
Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox.
Oh,
But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night the yellow envelope disappeared. Ha, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing.
he has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got to Mr. Misham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared?
Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems pretty important to me.
Very well then. The witness will add this to his testimony.
You got it.
I still think this fails to change anything, Applehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. Exactly the opening I've been looking for. I wonder if I can go back to the other one now. And make an argument about it. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you were hiding that fact from us.
Yeah, yes, well, actually.
I don't argue the possibility that the letter disappeared from that studio, but Herr Forehead, isn't there a much more serious question before us? Right. How Mr. Misham was poisoned, I know. But Mr. Brushel's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he's told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think.
Let's keep thinking, Apollo.
Do I even need to press on this? Like, it's the third one that I said right. Alright, well, he would have licked a stamp, wouldn't he? You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
Okay, yeah, objection! Just get me to the thing. Mr. Misham just the poison via route other than that coffee. I can prove it. Proof is possible. It is not. You two understand what we need, yeah? Proof, Herr Forehead. More possibilities. Of course. And Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. I'm ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have proof of the disappearing envelope.
I saw him writing a letter, I did.
Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume.
Of course. Which means that envelope had a stamp on it.
A stamp. Oh.
As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you can wet it by licking the stamp.
Objection!
Yeah, that would have worked nowadays. Fit. No one worth talking to actually licks stamps.
Objection!
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does that explain the etriquinine or even the coffee?
Objection!
If he licked the back of a poison stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth? Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around.
What?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself.
Water! But that doesn't, does it?
Recall, if you would. Etriquinine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe.
You have something to add, Mr. Brushel.
Uh-oh. His nose is picking up another scent.
Yes, I believe I mentioned earlier. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Yes, a stamp. So-called postage stamp. End quote. But you know, I don't seem to remember finding one.
Maybe he just run out.
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one.
That does pose a problem. How will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Did he have a stamp inside of the picture frame? Actually, I'm glad I know their stamps were found. Makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place.
Well, let's see what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poison stamp?
This. Take that! It's weird that he would keep a stamp in a frame, but sure.
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame. And by little, I mean really little.
It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection. So what? Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atriquinine residue. What? Why wasn't I told about this? The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You want save. Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps?
Order! 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 The poison stamp was in this frame.
Impossible. Prosecutor Gavin. Why would he put something like that on his desk?
Don't tell me he had a desk so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
You know, can I say something? I had a thought, see?
What, Mr. Brushel? And please stop jittering around like that.
The victim was a forger, right? A lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends, like Sumi's too, and Sprout.
So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him.
Objection!
Oh, rich. That's rich.
Leave the ridiculous flight of fancy to the Gaviner's song lyrics, please.
Finally, something we agree on. The stamp is a murder weapon. Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again. Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail.
The mail.
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew red letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have evidence per se. Things are finally starting to come together. What is it, Apollo? Are we going to use the other one? Your fists are all trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Misham was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Misham the stamp of death. Here, show. Envelope from Mr. Wright. There's card. There's that. It's 2 sheets. Please send overseas which you found. With the enclosed stamp. Oh, yeah. That would do it, wouldn't it?
Isn't this the envelope? The one from 7 years ago?
Think about the text of the letter again. There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
Oh. In other words, if I have this straight, the stamp, poison, on the stamp, lick, gasp, end quote.
Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked?
He signed the document, put it in the envelope, put the stamp on it, right? And you put it in his letterbox.
15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed between fixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite convenient. Thanks to the postal system.
That is actually really fucking clever, gotta say. Like, that is a legitimate good way to kill someone. And if I ever have to murder someone, that might be the way to do it. That might be good. The issue, of course, is that nowadays people email. The other issue is that people are lazy. Often when I write letters, because I actually do. We discussed this before. I don't mail them right away. Like, I'll write one, and then I will wait until I have an errand to run to go outside, and then I will drop it off in the post office box. So this type of thing would not kill me, so don't attempt that. It won't work, basically. Or rather, it will be traced back to you because I'll die with a letter in my hand that is poisoned that will link back to you. So it won't work. Mutually assured letter destruction. But this is clever, though. I like this. This is good. Such a splendid imagination you have here, Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago. Yeah? Is that what you'd had us believe? Really? Well, it's a little bit of a stretch. There's a possibility. No, the letter's not open, right? Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder. A poison stamp in this envelope. A stamp that then became the murder weapon. How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well, 7 years ago, we don't even know who sent that letter. Your answer is silence, I see. Very well, I move to... It's not nice to pick on the Fraulein, Clavier. Oh, what? Why are you here? Emma. Well, like my Christoph Gavin impression? Did I sound like him? Oh, okay. Okay. Wow, that was freaky. Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fraulein Detective? Someone had to come dig you out of all the mess you're making in this case. Mess? You know, none of this would happen if you just trusted in science a little more. Find out if that stamp was in that envelope easy. You can't to explain yourself, Fraulein Detective. Blame me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right? That's right. The poison detection spray.
Produce the red envelope at once. You can open on the authority of the court.
Well, I'm not finding anything yet. Oh, you got something.
Well, would you look at that?
No mistake in it. That's actrocanine residue. Thanks, Emma.
I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last.
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Misham figured it out.
Figured what out?
He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp.
And put his decisive evidence in the frame.
Interesting. So they're like blackmailing each other?
Ah, you're still here.
Can I make a statement here on the record? I spark razor-tooth Brushel. Claim this scoop is mine. Jeremy Misham killed in cold blood. I send her a 7-year-old letter. End quote. No, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7-year delay. End quote.
Order. I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. To think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp his ticket straight to afterlife. End quote.
I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
I see no need for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years could hardly have been our defendant.
Apollo, I think we just won.
Very well. This court finds the defendant.
Oh, come on, Clavier. Is this the bright future of our legal system?
Prosecutor Gavin.
Her ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Tickets for Governor shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
But it doesn't make any sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in Herr Forehead's claim. Contradiction? A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Drew Misham have done what he did? Emma explained that. He must have realized it was poison. Therein lies the rope. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sensed a trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this. But this begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Misham simply forgot. He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years, and forgot. You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? I mean, yes, actually. 7 years is a long time for, like, you not to remember a very tiny thing. And if he was, like, super sensitive enough to be wary of a stamp being sent, then he probably had a million other things going on. I don't know. I feel like he would forget it, you know? Like, he's out of the business now, maybe.
Well, I admit this is all quite shocking myself. It does seem highly unlikely they would fall afoul of a trap. You have been sitting on his desk for 7 years.
Apollo? I don't think we're winning anymore.
I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you.
Objection!
Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope?
The poison stamp.
Where exactly is this poison stamp again?
Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed.
What about the atropine residue, huh?
Oh, I agree. That does seem to be atropine residue.
But her forehead, it's certainly no stamp. Yeah, but
even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Misham never would have used it. That's all.
yeah.
I believe we've come to a conclusion. Again.
Apollo, were we wrong the whole time? I don't think so. I can't believe it. The poison traces matches up. It can't be a coincidence.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Misham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison atropine on the document inside that envelope. A similar trace was also found at this crime scene, on this tiny picture frame. The defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope, an envelope that left the scene of the crime with a poison stamp on it.
Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp,
And Drew Misham, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp. I'm afraid you're right, which means there's a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
I'm on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of atropine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Misham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be a fake.
Ha, a fake clue. Fascinating.
And if we find this fake, your wild fantasy will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that's thrown off the poison trail is none other than the envelope, the frame, or Drew Misham. Drew Misham is the clue? What? How is that a... what? Contains 2 sheets. I mean, wasn't this sealed? Or no? Is it sealed? I can't examine the actual damn envelope. What was the clue here? It was just that small. You take this back part off first to put a photo inside. Or put poison in the coffee would have been on here too. I mean, honestly, the frame is the weirdest part about it. Drew Misham, though? Like, what do they mean? Like, the fake clue that's thrown us off the poison's trail The envelope found on the victim's desk drawer contains 2 sheets of writing paper. Frame measuring 2 switches, yada yada. Or Drew Misham, painter known for his illustrations. Poison at Drew Studio. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Drew Misham? It's so weird. I want to pick it.
The victim was a fake clue. Afraid I don't understand.
I'll explain. I have no idea what we're gonna say. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations, you've completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger. It makes a good story, I'll give you that. The fake clue. Fakes, forgeries.
I know that face. I just had an idea face.
I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Wait, are we saying he faked his death? Come again. 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why? That's what I want to know. Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Okay, I see where it is now, but also, like, I picked it because I thought I was going to get a funny dialogue of, like, you're an idiot, Apollo, what are you doing? How would you come to this conclusion? Like, I mean, I see how he comes to the conclusion of, like, you wouldn't fall for that trick, therefore it can't be the same person. But what kind of crack are you smoking? Here we are again. The victim was a fake. One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake. That's weird.
Order.
Watch it be like Trucy's dad somehow. So you are telling us that Drew Misham, the victim, was a fake? Actually, wait, what is... No, they don't really look similar at all, right? Do I have a picture of the magicians? Tell us he was the fake. Who was the real forger? You'd better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo.
I'm afraid you're going to back up your story. Mr. Justice, show us just who the real Drew Misham was.
Alright, guess we're saving. If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Misham was himself a forgery. The real forger was... What? Do we need to say Vera? She's the only other artist. Unless, like, I don't know. Is it secretly Ballant Grammary? Or is it Spark Brushel who's the forger? I mean, his name is Brushel. Would that be why you would, like, paint his face? And get invited and know about forgeries? Or, it feels like a stretch. I don't think that's what we're going for. I'm gonna go with Vera. She was my first instinct. Take that! But that means she'd been doing this since she was 12. There can be only one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger known as Drew Misham is none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham. Yeah, you're not a murderer, you're just a forger. A different kind of crime.
Order! Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb even for you.
I kind of agree.
Wait, Vera? The forger? Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings of the studio, one fact is quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap some years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually that does make a certain kind of sense.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Misham. Well, fascinating.
There, Misham. You've been paying attention to the trial so far?
Let's just ask and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger? Drew Misham. Huh? Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Fräuleins, believe me. That they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes.
So the forger, Drew Misham, was you.
Yes, it was me.
What?
Okay. So he has a child prodigy daughter. The court wasn't enough for when it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess. Huh. Interesting. Again, I feel like I say this every time, but like the dynamic between Apollo and Clavier is so different from Phoenix and Miles. Like, so different. It's much more supportive, I guess, for lack of a better word. There's something else I wanted to say that I didn't say because I was reading, having to do with a comparison. I can't remember. I mean, oh, it was about the judge. That's what I was thinking about. The judge has come a long way, I think. Like, compared to the original Phoenix Wright trilogy, like, he actually seems to be paying attention and, like, be pretty smart. Like, he makes some silly jokes and such every now and then, which, you know, he used to do too, I guess. But, like, the jokes on the judge in the previous games felt like jokes at the expense of the judge, while the jokes in this game with the judge kind of feel like they're more like he's in on the joke, I guess, or something, if there is one. But he seems like way more competent in this game for some reason. I don't know. I guess he learned. Huh. Still, I mean, I suppose you might as well be a forger instead of a murderer, I guess. And I mean, Apollo's logic makes sense. It's very strange, though, I will say. Because if she's... So, is she just copying Drew's pictures? It's really weird. Alright, anyway, though, I'm not going to think too much harder about it. We'll learn more next time. How about that? Today's Wednesday, so tomorrow's Thursday. I don't know if I will be around or not for a stream, because I forgot to text my friends to ask them if we're doing trivia tomorrow or not, and yeah, no one said anything. So I will have to do that to figure it out. But most likely I will probably do trivia because I didn't do it last week, and if that's the case, then if there is a stream, it will be like after after 9 o'clock, probably. So there's a good chance there won't be a stream. And then Friday, I'm a little torn. We could continue this if we wanted to. Though the bothersome thing is that next week I'm going to be gone for work, and I'll be back for Friday, I think. But it means that like we're going to be left on a cliffhanger no matter what we do. I think with this case, because we're going to another section of the trial here, not to another day of investigation, which makes me think we might be done with the investigation entirely. Maybe. Probably not, because they're mentioning 7 years a million times, and that relates to Phoenix's thing. And there was from the very first case at the end of it, he had said something about forging evidence. So this is definitely all going to tie together. So there might be another day of investigation that doesn't have to do with the studio, probably, is my guess. But at the very least, there's probably more trial. So if we do this on Friday, we'll probably get through the trial and then have investigation that'll be postponed by a week or so. But also, I really want to program. So, and I mean, like, I can program on the weekend, I guess. But we'll see what mood takes me, I suppose, on Friday night. Sorry to not give a definite answer on when there will be more Ace Attorney, but there will be Ace Attorney unless the plane I'm on crashes. So there you go. Have a good one, everyone. With that image in your mind, take it easy. Enjoy